kacha chanchi chi gamchi sem gadi dei.
Dachi the gana sem gadi der chi chi. Hani dream de.
Ni so na jumba de mola na habu. So ni so na juda lula.
Kilo gamchi aslo.
Jila.
Dampara tekta hila.
Mila.
Mobile team. Karila.
Karimila. Dani chiji da chidi. Tenga chigi ke khapti kamchi khato to duga.
Jagab ki rawa socho ki shita di. Rangi lamlu se ni se. Duge jibo ki.
Kujo. Sicha. घर ठुलो लग्जरी गाडी भन्दैमा के खुसी हुन्छ काकी पेल्छौँ कि आछि गागोमे हा 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 बेबे आछि गागोमे एउटा गर्लफ्रेन्ड छ नि त
Dele drone gala.
Ila.
Dele semcho ni duga.
Emdi de am dişite mano turun yalam tomme.
Nilam marudis tamamen bedel oyni pamni sugan zum jimeongani pinche de sulan zum jimeongasi.
안지였어. 나도 다니는 거지. 정도 두번 다니.
बेसी होइन एउटा छोरा र एउटा छोरी हुँदा नि बुढो पनि हुन्छ होला सक्दिनँ होला त्यहाँदेखि त पाल्नु भने होइन
Welcome, Dorothea Surbo and Arun Batarai to the World Happiness Fest and the World Happiness Foundation. We are so blessed by the movie that you basically produced and directed, and is really important that we bring knowledge and awareness around happiness and well-being. And your movie definitely ignites the dialogue and curiosity for people to go deeper into understanding the relevance, the importance of happiness and well-being in a world that is not easy to live. So thank you so much for being here. And I would love to understand a bit what's behind this movie and why you decided to create this movie.
Thank you so much, Luis. Me, as a Bhutanese, growing up here during the times when we were really talking about gross national happiness, which is like the central philosophy of the country. I grew up studying it in my school. I grew up listening to our king's speeches, but it was always hard for me to understand exactly what is GNH at that time. So later, when actually me and Dorothea, we made our first film, and when we started traveling with our first film, people would every time associate Bhutan with happiness and with this whole idea of gross national happiness. So that was actually the trigger for us to kind of dig deeper and talk about happiness, but from a very emotional perspective through very personal stories. So we really wanted to talk about happiness by exploring what happiness means to individuals as opposed to what it means to a nation. So yeah, actually that was the trigger for us to enter into this film. And I think Dori can talk more about what we actually wanted to say.
Yes. Thank you, Luis, for the question. So I'm Dorothy, and I'm coming from Hungary, and Arun is from Bhutan. So we are a very unique collaboration. Actually, we 10 years ago we studied together in an international master program, and we became creative partners. and since then we are making films in Bhutan. So Agent of Happiness is our second feature documentary that we collaborated on, and basically, as Arun said, the idea was that since Bhutan was part of my life in the last 10 years, and I encountered many people and many stories, and also through Arun I really got to know the culture, and as Arun said that his upbringing was throughout influenced by the gross national happiness philosophy, and we knew about the 5-year statistics and also the policy, and people were talking about it. We got kind of an inspiration that we would like to use the happiness survey in order to enter the life of individuals and to see what's behind the numbers and the statistics, and how people evaluate and see their lives, and how people dealing with their sorrow and loss and sadness and joy, and what matters to them. And actually, what gave us the push to make this film, that we met with Amber, one of the happiness enumerators in the film, and we got to know his personal life story, and we thought that we really would love to accompany him on this journey when he's doing the happiness survey and encountering people.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry.
beautiful.
Yeah, just to add, I think the film, I think in the end, for us, I think the film is about how all of us are interconnected with one another, and how no person is an island. Actually, I think it's about how as human beings we need each other, and I think that's what we learned while we were actually going and filming this documentary with people from different social classes in the country.
That's beautiful. So actually, you found a real a character. I mean, basically, this is one of the 65 people that go around Bhutan with a happiness index. Is that right?
This one, actually, we found Amber actually, uh, because he was working for a different center from the national center. He was actually working from a different center, so he was not part of the one of the main surveyors in the country. He was working for a different center in the eastern part of Bhutan when we actually met him. So, but what we actually how we got really close to him was because of his personality. Actually, like he was such a great listener when we actually went with him, and when we were observing the survey situations. He was such a great listener to people, and also he had a very beautiful story, because he himself was searching for love. And here there was a happiness surveyor who was in search for his own happiness. So that's why we actually decided to follow him. And during the process, of course, he was very nice and very kind, and he and sometimes when we'd go out in the countryside, we told him, hey, can we do the survey here, can we do the survey with these people, and they were always very open to us as well. So it was a really it was a collaboration between their work and what we actually wanted from them. So yeah, it was a really great experience for us.
And also, because we met with Amber and his colleague Gunaraj during filming our previous film, and we also really loved their duo and their dynamic, because they always reminded us like the Bhutanese Laurel and Hardy, and actually we really loved their warmth and how they approach people.
Oh yes, that's and it shows during the film. It's so natural. It's like it's so real. That's what really got my attention, because I've been coming to Bhutan for the last 2 decades, and what you showcase is quite unique. I know the normal stories that you have in mind when you think of Bhutan. So I think that I would love to know how you selected such rich stories and characters, because you talk from transgender to Exodus to the life of Nepalese in Bhutan. I mean, you are really tackling real issues that are far away from the ideal concept of happiness that people might have, but you do it in a really smart way and a really in a way where you really have to think. It's like, wow. Even the way you score the happiness of every individual, so so amazing. So I was wondering what's behind the selection of those characters and what inspired you to actually go that way.
So one of the beautiful things about doing this film was that when we were actually following Amber and Gunaraj, we were also meeting these people along the way. So it was like obviously we did a lot of like surveys with people. We did a lot of interviews with different people. So we found these special people out of a lot of people we actually went on this on the trip with Amber and Gunaraj. So actually often it was like a lot of people were actually waiting for someone to come to their home and talk to them so that they could express their deep desires, and it felt like and that way I feel like the beauty of this survey itself is that in many ways it's almost like a therapy for many people, because they want to kind of express themselves and they're waiting for someone to come to their home so that they can express their deep desires and dreams and struggles. It was a very instinctive process, because as soon as we met some of these secondary characters, we knew, because the way they were expressing and the deepness of their story itself was, I was like, oh, we need to come back to these people again and again. So what we did was, the survey situation actually happened, but we told them that we are going to keep coming back to you to do these small portraits with you. So we would go back to them from time to time and film with them. So we really managed to develop a really deep relationship with these different characters. So also, often when we were searching for the stories, we were also searching for characters whose stories were actually resonating in a very subtle way with Amber's own story. So that way, yeah, that's how we ended up choosing the secondary characters. Yeah.
Yeah, basically just adding to Arun that that many times like we felt that what Amber and Gunaraj is doing, it's almost like the job of documentary filmmakers, because they talk to people and they listen to their stories and their feelings, and we were just witnessing how people are opening up, and actually, as Arun said, many times it was like very intuitive who became like a secondary character in the film, because people whose stories that touched us, then they became later on like the episodic characters, and also like the entire filming process felt like a little bit like a documentary casting, because we met with so many people, and actually that was the most challenging part of the creative process, that we had to do a selection, and then we had to like choose certain stories, and of course it was really important for us, the diversity, the different multiple voices of Bhutan, people who are struggling with different problems, or like interpreting their life and joy, and yeah, basically the what was really important for us, that the essence of the life stories give a very diverse bigger picture of the feelings and life experiences of Bhutanese people.
Thank you. Have you gotten any feedback already from the royal family or from the GNA Center? I'm curious if you got any type of messages from them.
We are yet to screen the film here, so I think it's like I think at that time we are going to invite them, and then And then I think I'm looking forward to that. But with most of these characters, we have shown the film to them already. So like we have shown it to the main character Amber and Gunaraj, of course, and everybody else, and they can really associate with the film, and they actually really enjoyed the whole film, and they say that it's like a memory for them for the future. It's like their actual stories that we managed to capture. So yeah, it was great to show it to them.
Yes,
Yeah.
and actually, what impressed me in the process, that the people are so honest, and almost everyone could share like a very deep wisdom, and I think this is something very unique.
Yeah, definitely. It's I mean, it's you don't you cannot miss a minute of the whole thing because it's so real, so authentic. The way everybody's sharing all these
Mhm.
stories. Um, so is there a favorite? Is there one of those stories that you say, okay, if I had to choose only one to define what is GNH and what is happiness for Bhutan, which one would you choose?
For me,
uh,
it's hard to choose. I love all our protagonists.
yeah.
But I think, for example, if you ask what is a GNH, for me, was always that I felt that even in the hardest situations, or really difficult life circumstances, or in deep sorrow, uh, almost all our characters found hope and peace and acceptance. And somehow they were always thinking of the future with a hopeful heart and mind, and not always striving for more, and and chasing their dreams, but somehow accepting their circumstances and appreciating those relationships who are close to them, and being in the present, appreciating their life. And I think that's what we also try to show through the film, that there is many, obviously, because the human experience is difficult, and there is many sadness in the film, because we all dealing with loss and difficulties and pain, but the way the people overcome and accept it and deal with these situations are, I think, really beautiful.
Arun, what is happiness to you?
Oh.
Did the essence or did the meaning of happiness change to you after this movie? Did you learn something you didn't know before being a Bhutanese?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's for me because I also grew up in a rural countryside, like most of the characters we see in the film. So I think for me, the actual process of going there and meeting people and listening to people was also for me, it was a reminder of of certain things that actually used to make me happy, like the small little things that used to make me happy, but I actually forgot along the way, because like as you grow up, you are chasing your dreams, you have different ambitions. So I think for me, the most beautiful part was actually being reminded of 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 living in the present, actually, and taking life day by day, by like moment to moment, like so things like that, like very simple things like that, I actually forgot. So I think for me it was this whole making this film, this whole trip was actually, it reminded me of certain things that used to be very important for me, uh, and I forgot along the way. So yeah, it was a reminder of who I am as a person.
Wow. Is there a recommendation that you have for the viewers what would you want them to focus on when they watch it, when they see this and they go to the theater or the movie theater or the cinema? What do you want them to focus on?
Yeah, I think yeah, it's hard to tell them to view it in a certain way, but I think what one thing happens quite spontaneously, and which we really want viewers to feel as well, and it actually happens to them, is that I think when they're actually watching the film, they also ask questions to themselves about what makes them happy. And sometimes when the happiness scores come in the film, they ask themselves, what will be my happiness score? So I think for us, that is a we as directors, we take a lot of pride in it, when the viewers come and tell us that we were thinking about our own happiness when we were actually watching the characters in the film. So yeah.
Yeah, basically, I just wanted to say that just I would say to the viewers just to immerse themselves into the film and listen and let the stories influence them, and 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 whatever feelings and association comes, I think just embrace this experience, because I think that's what documentaries can do, that they can take us into worlds and cultures and microcosms and lives that we don't experience, or it's hard to experience. And I think it's the films can be always like a mirror for ourselves, that what life situations we deal with, or how we appreciate our own circumstances. And I think and I think it's beautiful if we let images and sounds affect us.
Well, bravo. Arun, Dorothea, thank you so much for this masterpiece and for all this combination of mixed feelings that you provoke when you created this movie. I welcome and I invite everybody to really enjoy this beautiful masterpiece and basically go deeper into what makes us human, what connects us, and how as community, basically as humanity, we can thrive if we are together. So thank you so much for this inspiration to the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So
Yeah.
much. Thank you so much.